Madam Mayor, it's 6 o'clock.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this Tuesday, August 6th, regular City Commission meeting to order and ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Mayor Pam Triolo,
Here.
Vice Mayor Andy Amorosa,
Here.
Commissioner Scott Maxwell,
Here.
Commissioner Omari Hardy,
Here.
Commissioner Herman Robinson.
Here.
Thank you.
If everyone would please rise for the invocation or moment of silence. Is it first? It's your night.
Moment of silence.
Here, you want to do this, maybe?
No.
Okay.
Moment of silence.
Commissioner Robinson, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey. Quick step.
Keep it moving.
I just wanted to take a second before we get started today. I'm sure you've seen flags at half-staff, of course, throughout many places and cities and towns here in the county and whatnot in reference to the victims of the tragedies in El Paso and Dayton, and now we're getting reports of new things today too, I believe. It's a crazy world out there, and I just want to reflect on the friendships and the camaraderie and the bonding that we have here as neighbors. You know, we talk about being a city of neighborhoods, but we're all in it together. And as we offer our prayers and condolences to those out there in the world affected by these tragedies, to remember that here at home we need each other, and we can get through these things together. But of course, offering our prayers and thoughts and sympathies to those in need. Thank you. I also wanted to just check on something. Do we have any additions, deletions, or rework?
Not that I'm aware of.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
can we pull E, citywide janitorial services work?
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I was reminded that I don't believe Representative Al Jaquette is going to be here tonight.
Okay.
So we may go right into the first presentation.
Okay. He definitely won't, or you're not?
I don't believe he is going to, he definitely will not be here.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as amended with the removal of that presentation and the movement of consent item E to
New business?
new business item C.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to our presentations, we will start then with our presentation from Mark Perella. Welcome. Hello.
Sorry, I thought I had a minute to catch my breath. Could you let me? No, it's in the car.
Do you need a minute? Are you okay?
The excitement will. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
We can get it for you.
Okay,
I don't want you
thank
to
you. It's
catch your breath. Let him get that. You gotta take deep breaths.
actually coming out of the coma. This was the first thing that I was able to recollect fully, and what I've been holding on to. So this is therapeutic for me.
My goodness.
Okay. Put that up for me. Commissioner Maxwell. April 4th, 2017, we successfully fundraised over $4,500 on GoFundMe, of which the Choi family only accepted $3,500 because they stated that was the amount they estimated was the value of the items that the burglars had stolen from their home. This incident was the catalyst that started me thinking about a way to honor my Nana's memory and my mother's passion for service, and some words that Mayor Triolo shared with me about how I can keep doing good even though I didn't live in the city anymore. It is their footsteps, my mom's and grandma's, that I followed that have me standing here today. I am humbled to stand here tonight in front of my mom, and I thank her because without her example of community service, I know I would not be doing this. And my sister, who's running behind, who's visiting from New York, who's supposed to be here, I have to mention her. She was always been the wind beneath my wings. She always had my back. And she beat up every bully that tried me in school. I'd like to formally announce the recipient of this quarter's Leocadia Fonseca grant will be going to Beverly Bracken. She has been selected as the first recipient of the $1,209 grant, the Leocadia Fonseca grant. That dollar amount represents December 9th, which was my Nana's birthday. This will be the first installment for an air conditioning system that EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing was selected to install. I called other businesses, some of which I won't mention, who actually hung up on me and left me with a broken heart. And EDS listened, and they had some trepidation, but they're here tonight. That says something, and I wanted it to be a local business to take on this task with me. I will share an example of why I love doing this. The Choi family, which Genesis Neighborhood helped 2 years ago, when they heard about my efforts, they immediately came to the rescue, along with Jeff Stendel, my mother, Annie Sandoval, Patricia Hazelton, who isn't even a member of Genesis. And they joined in our efforts, and they cleared out the foliage that was causing the risk of Beverly getting code fines from the city. Instead of helping, a neighbor sought to constantly call and submit complaints, so we took care of that. There's a mind-boggling joy to see someone you've helped pass that help on to someone else. I can't describe it. I can't cheapen it with words, so I'll move on. I'll keep this announcement of the first Leocadia Fonseca grant short and sweet because there are no amount of words that could accurately convey the joy I'm feeling right now, nor do justice to the love and gratitude I feel for the space I am in, to be able to honor the sacrifices, my memory of my mother, to show my mom that all her unconditional love and biggest prize in the world. Where are you, Mom? Where are you? Where is she? Oh, she's waiting for Mom outside. I'm sorry. And her unconditional love and sacrifices were worth it. To have found my soulmate, who looks at me like he won the lotto, like the biggest prize in the world. To have big shot business owners who could do much better with their time, but they're here standing by my side at my request. Well, not so much at my request, more at implied threat. I wanted the people who made this miracle possible to be here by my side. It would be a farce to stand up here alone and announce this grant because I didn't do it alone. I wish I had the financial resources to do this on my own, not yet. Until then, I rely on these earthbound angels that God has put in my path to keep doing this. Only in the city that has the biggest piece of my heart, in the city of Lake Worth. If you want to help, you can go to genesislakeworth.org. There's a link there to our GoFundMe page. Van Kirk has already put up a link to our GoFundMe page to help us raise the funds to help my beautiful Beverly get an AC so she doesn't have to spend another year. She spent 13 years, Bev? 13. Without AC. Not another one, not under my watch. And thank you for the city that affords for people like me to do stuff like this and give me the time and give me the wind beneath my wings. Without people like you, Pam, who gave me the idea to keep on even after I moved out of Lake Worth, how could I continue doing my mitzvahs here? For Scott, who's always had my back, and sometimes when I wake up from the hospital recently out of a coma, the first face I saw, it is thanks to you guys who believe in me that I continue doing this. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is the best city in all of the U.S. Lake Worth.
Well, you got to give her the big giant check.
Yeah. Somebody's got to take a picture.
And I'm sorry.
That is a big check.
Pam, will you do the honors?
I'm a sucker for a big giant check.
I'm shaking. I'll probably hit her with it.
Okay, knock me over.
Wait, watch out.
I'm already.
Wait, here, come this way.
There you go.
Can I say something? Sure. I'm not big on public speaking, but I will just say, as a little girl who is so shy, if someone pointed a camera at me, I'd run the other way. This is overwhelming for me, just for that, to be the center of something like this. And no words. No words. I bought my house 42 years ago in Lakewood. And I've been through a lot, and I'm still going through a lot. I became disabled 22 years ago, and the Lord has continued to save my house for me. And it's been an incredible journey, learning a lot about Him and how He loves me and saves me and protects me and sends people into my life. God.
You get to experience this.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Evie.
The bank's really not gonna take this.
Exactly. Go take a picture of it.
Yeah. Can you put that in the pneumatic tube?
Appreciate the work you do in our community. Thank you. Did you want to say anything?
No, I'm okay.
Did you want to stay down?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Is the clicker on?
There's a clicker.
Yep, there you
It
go.
should be tested and ready.
It has.
I know.
It's really
PowerPoint
funny.
never works. Right?
No, stop. It's good.
There's at least one glitch.
It better not be.
The arrow?
Is it turned
Yes.
on? You have to make sure it's on the side. Turn-
Yeah, you're really.
Don't point that towards airplanes. It's not good.
Okay.
This is hot, by the way.
Pointed at Captain Bayer's head.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. I mentioned in one of our previous meetings that I wanted to share our ocean current energy presentation that we did at the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and to give you some more insight into the project. I know that we've talked about it in big picture themes a lot of times, but I wanted you to sort of see the intricacies of the project, and how much interest we've had in it since then is really exciting. So I'll start. Humans have been using water to power our needs for a very long time. First referenced in 4000 BC, water wheels in creeks and rivers were used to irrigate crops, grind grains, and supply drinking water. Now, these simple devices evolved over time and later were used to drive sawmills, forged bellows, trip hammers, and the early textile mills. With the advent of the electric age, water powered the first large-scale electric generators, with the first one installed near Niagara Falls in 1881. Today, we realize the negative impacts of using fossil fuels to power our cities. And this has spurred innovation and partnerships as we search for new ways to generate electricity without creating greenhouse gases. While rivers, streams, and dams have served us well for thousands of years, our sights are now set on the tremendous potential of ocean hydrokinetic energy. In the form of waves, tides, and ocean currents, huge sources of power exist in our oceans on a vast scale. Now, waves are a ubiquitous source of power along most shorelines, and in Hawaii, one can see and feel the enormity of the Pacific Ocean and the massive waves surrounding this paradise. I hope you have a chance to tour, and I was speaking, of course, to the people at the Hawaii conference. I hope you have a chance to tour the Wave Energy Test Site. It's an amazing place. And there's a collaboration between the Hawaii National Marine Renewable Energy Center at the University of Hawaii and the Navy. And companies are working to develop viable and scalable wave-to-energy technology. Up next, tides. In other places such as Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, private companies also have devices in the water right now that harness the flow of the tides. And these facilities are the result of collaboration between governments and private businesses. While these efforts have yielded innovative devices, large-scale electric generation has not yet materialized from this. So what about the ocean currents, and how does Lake Worth Beach fit into that picture? There are over 20 major ocean currents flowing like unseen rivers in our oceans. Caused by the prevailing winds, tides, and the rotation of the earth, these rivers are huge in size and scale, and they flow along the eastern continental shorelines such as Africa, Japan, and North America. Ocean currents also flow past some of the largest population centers on land. Now, unlike wind, solar, and tidal currents, ocean currents provide a power source that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, regardless of the weather conditions or of the time of day. In South Florida, the Gulf Stream current flows from the Gulf of Mexico around Florida, then north along the United States, all the way up to Ireland. Lake Worth Beach happens to sit on the Atlantic coast, where the current is concentrated in a 60-mile wide channel between the state of Florida and the Bahamas. And this creates the perfect place to most easily access the Gulf Stream for research, development, and testing of in-water generation equipment and devices. It also provides the closest place to connect ocean current electric energy into a grid for practical users by customers. Having the ability to actually turn on a light in someone's home moves this idea from an academic exercise to a real-world use in an accelerated manner. The city of Lake Worth Beach has had its own electric utility since 1914, and we are the only municipally owned system within our region. Under the control of the City Commission, we have the ability to show results of our commitment to environmental sustainability and carbon reduction in ways that many of our sister cities just cannot. We have made great strides in solar power, including the installation of a solar array on our old closed landfill, conversion of all our street lighting to LED, and most recently, we are participating in 2 shared solar facilities, and will be receiving up to 40 megawatts of solar energy by 2022. This will bring our system-wide total of carbon neutral power to just under 60%. So when the city has the chance to partner on being the world's first city to be powered by ocean currents, we dove right into the current. Sorry. Thank you. I'm so punny. Our partner in this endeavor is the Southeast National Marine Renewable Energy Center at FAU, or SIMREC. They are one of 3 entities created by the Department of Energy to figure out how to commercialize power from the ocean. Now, I have earlier mentioned HIMREC, which is in Hawaii, and there is NIMREC, now called PacWave in Oregon, which is the 3rd. And for over 12 years, SIMREC has been researching all aspects of the Gulf Stream current to create an incredibly detailed amount of information regarding the nature and performance of this huge ocean river. They also have developed the initial partnerships with private companies worldwide who have and are developing generators. Now, SIMREC has offices located right here in Lake Worth Beach, And along with our own electric utility, they're working to fulfill the mission of commercializing power from the ocean. Our engineers, working with reams of data generated by Cymric, selected a site 15 miles offshore directly east of the city's public beach. The area is aligned so that it's within the strongest and most consistent flow of the Gulf Stream. The cables that will connect the offshore generators to our grid will be on the seabed and then will go underneath our beach. This route is based on the city's old sewer outfalls that were in use until the 1970s. Now, our original thought was to pull the cables through the outfall pipes, turning an old environmentally damaging sewer line into an environmental positive. However, due to the structural concerns of it, the cables will now go under those pipes using the same path to open water. The current configuration allows for a 20 megawatt production field with rooms to expand. There will be multiple berths for companies to connect and conduct R&D, and will eventually full-scale electric generation. In either case, electricity can flow back into our grid and will become part of the energy that's consumed by all of our residents and our customers. It can also be exported to the state grid for use by other cities in the state. There are currently 9 companies, domestic and international, who are in talks with Lake Worth Beach right now about getting their devices into the water. The concepts are ingenious and run the gamut from simple propellers and turbines to honeycomb-shaped grids and winged flying contraptions. All require a mooring to the ocean floor with connection to cables that transmit the electric current back to shore. Among the most promising is a turbine device developed by the Japanese company IHI. After the tsunami and Fukushima disaster, the Japanese have been moving forward with the development of alternative power sources. IHI has visited Lake Worth Beach and expressed frustration at the lack of grid connections available in Japan for their device. It's our hope that they'll bring one of their units to plug right into our project. One of the best examples of a device that's currently in use and generating electricity already is from Minesto, a spin-off created by the Swedish aerospace company Saab. They currently have working units in tidal currents off Ireland and Wales. Adapting their units and scaling them up to 1 megawatt or larger size is right now in discussions. They're truly a plug-and-play system and could be among the first to push actual electrons right into our grid. They've stated that they consider the Gulf Stream off of Lake Worth Beach to be the holy grail of locations to prove their system, and we continue to work with them. Now, beyond becoming the world's first city to be powered by ocean current energy, we are very aware of the economic impact and job creation of a new industry cluster for our region and for our state. We realize that while we may become the first to effectively use ocean current energy, the goal is to have this technology adopted by investor-owned power companies. After we have fulfilled the intermediary role of proving the viability of this tremendous offshore resource, companies such as Florida Power and Light should begin developing sites of their own. And when that occurs, we will have truly fulfilled our role and vision of changing our world for the better. Now, the project is in the initial phases of the required permitting process. The data for an underwater land lease is being pursued for application with the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, BOEM, and a permit to run electric cables on the ocean floor with the Federal Electric Regulatory Commission, or FERC. The permit and the lease should take 1 to 2 years to obtain. Funding for the cabling and mooring field will be a combination of federal, state, and private sector financing, totaling over $60 million. It's our goal to have units in the water generating electricity to turn on a light bulb in Lake Worth Beach within 5 years. We're fortunate to have a dynamic team of committed elected officials, employees, and partners. The Gulf Stream is huge. Appreciate that the amount of water in all of the rivers in the world, the Niagara, the Mississippi, the Congo, the Amazon, the Euphrates. And if you take all those rivers, combine them together into a supersized massive river, then multiply that 30 times. That's what's flowing by Lake Worth Beach every second. Based on a Georgia Tech study commissioned by the U.S. Department of Energy, it was determined that capturing just 1/1000th of the volume of water in the Gulf Stream current would equate to 4 to 6 gigawatts of electricity. That's enough power to light up 4.14 million homes, or that would equal 2 to 3 nuclear plants worth of power. And it could supply 35% of the entire state of Florida's annual electricity demand. Lake Worth Beach is fortunate to have all the various pieces and components to make practical power from the ocean a reality. But more importantly, we have the vision and the drive to make it happen. I'm proud to be mayor of a community that is committed to changing the world and doing our part to create clean energy for the future. Thank you. What I found most interesting was that there were several representatives from Japan that were at the conference, and they were all coming and taking notes throughout the entire process. And one of the companies that we had dealt with, whatever, she actually worked with that company. And I've since had calls from Sweden, too, from the people from Minesto that are actually working on the project and making it happen. And they're just waiting for us to have the docking station in place. And I've said before in past, and I'll just sum it up in a couple of brief words. We've gotten the attention of the federal government and the Department of Energy. They're already on board. We've gotten from the scientists that have been working in the region and in current energy for a long time. We introduced it in the last legislative session in the state of Florida, and they're starting to understand and buy in. But we didn't do a very good job of telling our neighbors here in Palm Beach County what it means to them and how this industry cluster will affect their cities and benefit in a positive way. So we need to spend some time as delegates for our city and for this project. I would hope that you all would give people information on this to move forward, but it's a very exciting process, and I think that we're going to have a lot of success in the future on it. And if the excitement of these scientists is any indication of that, boy, are we in for some great new things. So thank you all for that opportunity. All right. Commission liaison reports and comments.
I'll pass.
Pass.
I attended DOT meeting, 10th Avenue West, and they're doing some studies that will hopefully help with some of the traffic coming out of Lake Worth, coming out of Palm Springs, also getting children safely to school. So looking forward to those ideas and thoughts coming out of DOT. I attended Palm Beach County League of Cities. I sit on their board as second vice president. I also attended the Florida League of Cities Transportation Board. I sit on their transportation board. I attended the Sober Home Task Force for the meeting in August. We won't be meeting in September. We'll be back in October. The last Screen on the Green, which has now been moved to Bryant Park. Last summer, Screen on the Green will be Friday, and it's Hotel Transylvania. So bring the kids out. Great time. All kinds of games and toys and things going on for the kids. Registration for adult and youth basketball has now opened for the month of August. So if anybody's interested in that, get down, sign up for that. We have another tree planting coming up Saturday, August 24th at 9:30. Volunteers are needed. If you want to attend, it's at 1101 Southeast Street. That's all I've got.
Commissioner Robinson?
I want to thank you for the words for El Paso and Dayton. And my prayers particularly are for government and the people that have the ability to do something more than just prayers. Government exists to provide safety for all its residents. And Dayton considered mass murder a national issue until it happened in Dayton. It's not a national issue, it's our issue. And I urge all our citizens to encourage their government to actually take action to make us safer with better gun legislation. And thank you.
I don't know which, I've been so crazy lately. Talent show's coming up at Barton Elementary School, 6 p.m. Friday. Is that passed already? The 7th or the 8th? College Park Neighborhood Association. I was a guest speaker last night. Thank you to everyone that came out. We had a lot of good conversation and got to talk about a lot of things, so it was fun. And got a lot of information shared too. Ralph on the Go, did I mention that last time? Ralph on the Go is a product, Lifetime Television actually came because they're exploring architecture and exciting cities around the country, and they chose Lake Worth Beach. And it's a morning show on Lifetime Television, and they have, I guess, a celebrity chef from the Food Network that goes around in an Airstream, and he tries out something based on the flavor and of a community, and he put something together. It was he based it on, believe it or not, they told the story of Fanny James and the history of the city, and it had a little bit of the diversity of our city fixed into the recipe that he made. You'll have to see it because I don't want to spoil it for you. But I actually got to be on that and be interviewed and talk about and actually take him through town and lead him through town. It'll be coming up on Lifetime, and I'll let you guys know the date when they give it to us so that our city will be featured. So that should be fun. I want to mention too, For the Children, they are having their 20th anniversary gala, and they're looking for people. Now, we have a lot of creative people here in the city of Lake Worth Beach. They're looking for people to sponsor tables, but not to just sponsor them, to decorate a table for this event. You can decorate it down to bring in your own dishes too. Say you have your own china dishes or centerpieces or things of that nature and create your very own tablescape. If you're interested in doing that, or for tickets to the event, this is an organization that helps kids in some of our most challenged neighborhoods and provides all kinds of daycare services, educational projects, programs for after school programs, VPK, and everything. And they do a lot in our community. So if you're interested in helping them out, please visit forthechildrenfirst.org, and I'm sure you can get more information there. Also, Whispering Palms is having their neighborhood back to school cleanup, and that's going to be through Healthier Lake Worth Beach, and it's August 10th, and residents are invited to come out, non-residents are invited to come out. They're also going to be giving away free backpacks and school supplies and things of that nature too, so make sure you check out that as well. All right. Moving on to public participation of non-agenda items and consent agenda items. And I'll take the cards. Again, if you have an item, if you want to talk about an item that comes up later under public hearings, new business or whatever, you can put in a separate card for that too. But this is just for consent agenda and other things that you'd like to talk about that are going on in your world. Todd Townsend, followed by Dustin Zacks.
Hello, my name is Todd Townsend, 502 South J Street, right here in Lake Worth. Leadership City, as we're seeing here tonight, right? But I wanted to talk about something a little bit closer to home to everybody. A lot of people here are parents. I'm not a parent. You know what? I was in the Dollar General last night, and a lot of stores are like this. They've all got tons and tons of little plastic guns at eye level for the kids to look at when they walk through their stores, Dollar General and other stores like this. I think that's really uncool, and I think that they should listen to us, and let's be a leadership city here, and let's get those things off the shelf. Are you going to be able to get this stuff off of the computer for people to play killing games on the computer? No, not going to happen. But we can certainly take these plastic submachine guns off of the shelves, you know, away from the toilet paper and the toothpicks and the toothpaste. You know, do we need triggers right next to that? I mean, we go to these type of stores for those more sensitive facts in life, you know, our toothpaste, our toilet paper, things like that. We don't need triggers right there. It's direct negative imprinting on people who just are walking by. It's uncool, and I think that we should continue with our leadership skills here, and let's confront them and let's get something done about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin Zaks left this for me to read. I'm sure cats are involved. Let's see. I had to go to the gym, but I wanted to publicly say thank you to the mayor, Vice Mayor Maxwell, and the commission for appointing me to the P&Z board for a remarkably enjoyable 7 years. Thank you for allowing me to be part of bringing in millions of dollars of affordable housing, workforce housing, and also being a part of countless arguments over murals and whether some dude should just be able to store his boat on his front driveway. I think the way Greg Rice runs a meeting should be instructive to all of us, whether one wins or loses on an issue or whether one disagrees on any issue. I hope that in the future the Commission's disagreements will not result in pejoratives being hurled at one another or in dismissive tones being cast towards anyone. I did not chime in on ADUs for a variety of reasons. However, the number one disagreement I have is a silly idea that this is a solution in search of a problem. Friends, if you don't know the problem, it is because the problem doesn't afflict you. First, our generation is the first American who were poorer than the first generation's president. This is a statistical fact. Secondly, as reported by Bloomberg on July 30th, prices haven't risen much faster than income, pushing homeownership out of reach for a new generation of hopeful buyers. And third and finally, if you're thankful at all for volunteerism and young people actually caring about where they live, please keep in mind and consider quite literally, you would have never heard of me. I would not have been a volunteer for 7 years. I would have not affected the city in any positive way, and I wouldn't be your friend right now if I didn't have access to an affordable granny unit in Lake Worth as my first apartment as a working adult with no dough and hello student loans when I moved here. I disagree based on my own life story that ADUs solve a problem that does not exist. Finally, the Palm Beach Post reported in April that a resident's cat was responsible for a fire in the 3600 block of Whitehall Drive when it knocked a candle on a mattress. It's bad enough that they plague our streets. Now the cats are committing felonious arson. I'm Mayor Pam Triolo, and Dustin Zaks did indeed warn us about cats.
Always
He's
have
a
to
nut.
mention cat.
I love it.
Freaking nut.
He's a cat.
Tom McGreevy, followed by Ted Johnson.
The first one?
Todd McGreevy?
We're on the new business portion.
Oh, you're. Oh, okay. Wrong place.
Apologize.
Joseph Torres? Wait, I want to keep this. I just want to mention that Dustin Zaks did, because I have to disclose for public knowledge, that he did leave me the article about the clumsy cat who caused the fire. You wanted me to keep that as
I'm Joseph Torres. I'm at 512 North H Street. I want to thank you guys. I've seen such an improvement. I am a resident, also a homeowner of the affordable housing. I'm very grateful to live here. I enjoy my home, and I'm very happy to live in the city. And I'm not saying that because of affordable housing. I actually love the city. I really do. It's just a lot that goes on where I'm at. I'm here because the bar is opening up behind me, and that you guys have that on your agenda today. I got a letter to come here regarding it because it's supposed to be on the agenda today. I didn't see anything listed here, but the bar is supposed to be opening up, and you guys are supposed to be weighing in to approve their opening up. I'm for it. I'm for it. They've already built and done the work, but the problem is, are we having any security or anything to help out? We have no patrols currently. There's about 4 to 5 people, 4 of them that live within our block that are currently on the blocks 2 daily at the Sunoco and the 6th and North Dixie Highway between the two. and it's constant every day. We don't have any police patrol. There's none, unless you call, but they're there every day, sitting out there. All of the drug activity going back and forth at the Sunoco. It's been quiet for a while since the bar shut down. The heroin activity died, the visible activity died down a lot. But my concern is the people that are already still planted here, that are still out every day doing their little things, and the women that come on occasion, and they pop in and they all work together to network. But it's from the condos at 6 to the Sunoco. They can see right there to the Sunoco. So they bring the cars and the girls, and they can do their things from the phone. I got you. I can see whatever, all this activity going on, and it's only going to fuel what's going on already there with the business open. We have no supportive policing. We can't afford policing here. We can't afford to have them babysitting these addicts and wannabe dealers that are out here. But we have a couple that the police are well known of. I don't want to give names, but I've already talked to the police about these particular individuals in the Sunoco. It's ongoing and constant. There's a man with a cane there every day. And there's another Spanish guy there, sits out on the corner. Now what's going on with this car dealership? That's nothing there. We need parking for the business that's next door there. Alan Falk's business is all on our grass. We have a field here. We need development there, Art Deco like we got on 2nd and J. That would be nice there. That would be a perfect setting there for what we have here, or a home or something has to be put there. But I'm thinking Art Deco will be better because it will help them understand. We want our area to be nice and clean. They want to leave, it's right now furniture out there. 603, I've written to you about that right now, go there. It's furniture there. 502, where one of the guys lives at, he's putting furniture out. It's from Friday.
Thank you.
And then he's part of the Sunoco drug activity that's going on here. It's just ongoing and nothing being done.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more cards?
Oh, that's it, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Michael.
For this one,
Wait.
Non-agenda?
I didn't look at it.
is it non-agended or agenda item? Not, then you're up.
Wait, but there's a discussion on the docs. Okay.
Okay,
Sorry,
thank you.
I forgot that.
Okay,
We're gonna pass this down.
if you want to see it, yeah.
I just want to keep this.
No, I need to make a copy of, I need a copy of it.
Here, you take it and then.
I'll
distribute it.
send it to everybody.
Thank you.
Please do.
Thank you so much.
Okay, moving on to approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second,
Seconded.
firsted by the first.
I'll just withdraw my motion. I didn't first just anything.
That's what happens when you move. You start to get crazy. All right, so we
Just have to take a vote. He firsted it, he seconded it.
He actually the vice mayor seconded it. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Public hearing. Moving on to 10A, ordinance number 2019-6. Second reading and public hearing, amending Chapter 5, alcoholic beverages. City Attorney, would you read the ordinance, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Ordinance number 2019-06 of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 5, alcoholic beverages, Section 5-9. No possession of open containers of alcoholic beverages outdoors, public places, or vehicles to address open containers in commercial establishment parking lots and for other purposes, providing for severability, repealables and conflicts, codification, and an effective date.
If everyone would remember too, that's the one that we brought as a second reading of this. This is to give police the ability to go onto properties. We didn't have a law for the ability for them to make arrests for open alcohol containers and say supermarket parking lots and things of that nature. They didn't have the rights to go on there and actually make any arrest if there was need to. So this just alleviates that. So we've got a motion.
Second.
Second, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. And just for the record, there were no public comment cards on that item, correct?
Correct.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that, folks. Moving on to the second ordinance, again, a second reading, amending Chapter 19, streets and sidewalks, the shopping carts on public ways. I saw 3.
They're having babies.
I had 3 today right in front of that new construction building off of H and 10th Avenue, just FYI. Would you like to read the ordinance? Sorry.
Yes, the Scott Maxwell
Yeah.
Scott Maxwell shopping
Shopping
cart.
cart ordinance. Okay. Ordinance number 2019-08 of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 19 Streets and Sidewalks, Article 1 in general by deleting Section 19-13 shopping carts on public ways and replacing it with a new Section 19-13 shopping cart requirements for public rights of way and for shopping cart owners, providing for severability, the repeal of conflict codification, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Second, any public comment cards? Seeing there are none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to new business, designation of a voting delegate during the League of Cities,
Oh, sorry, yeah, new business.
League of Cities 93rd Annual Conference on August 15th through the 17th.
Madam Mayor, if I might, will you be in attendance?
No.
Then I move to nominate Vice Mayor Amoroso.
Do I have a second?
Second? Second.
Second. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm there anyway.
Okay, are there any public comment cards?
No, Madam Mayor.
Seeing there are none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item B, 12B, Snook Island Dock Management, brought forward by Commissioner Robinson.
Motion to receive and file.
Second.
File, okay?
What is the motion to receive and file?
It's to basically end the motion.
That's not a motion
Attorney.
to table, and I don't see it in Robert's rules anywhere. I actually looked this up previously.
City Attorney?
Is
Usually
it a
receive and
motion
file.
to table?
Right, usually receive and file is to receive and file some type of a report or document on an item, or the other equivalent would be a motion to table.
There's no document in the backup, so I don't know what we would be receiving.
Well, there's no
File.
documents in the backup period. So I will
Hold on one second.
Yeah, I
Let's
think
let's
we
go.
should
Oh,
discuss it.
let's go one at a time, please.
rescind my motion and make a motion to table it for 6 months.
So moved.
That's mean spirited.
Do we have a second? Will you remove your
Yeah, I seconded it.
seconded? Okay. We have public comment cards.
Is there public comment
Tom,
if it's tabled?
No,
Tabling is a non-debatable motion. We have to vote on it immediately.
You have to vote on it. Commissioner Hardy's correct. It's a non-debatable motion.
Then a motion on the
So mean.
motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 3-2.
So much for communication and
Yeah.
deliberation and
Unnecessary.
Point of order.
discussion.
Point of order, all
There
folks.
was nothing in the
And input
backup.
from the public.
Point of order. Thank you very much. Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
That was so mean.
We
You
can-
didn't have to do that.
Here we
That's
go.
what's wrong.
Ready? Ready?
And we talk-
Ready?
Point
Hello.
of order.
Point of order.
Good job.
Moving on to item C, please. Commissioner Hardy, did you bring this up?
Yeah, so let's hope this one doesn't get tabled for no reason. But
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
Point of order.
I brought this out because I've been on the commission for less than 3 years, and my understanding is that we've been through several janitorial services contracts during that time. So I just, I think stability is good. And I'm not sure why we go through so many. I'm sure there's a good explanation. But I just want to make sure that we have a process that allows us to get the best person, not necessarily the person that does the job for the lowest price. I understand we might have some policies that we might need to address around that. But I think it'd be great to have some stability here. And my understanding after having spoken with one of our attorneys is that janitorial services is always hard because the people who often get the job, they do it for the lowest price, and we don't tend to be satisfied like many people, and so we have to go through. So I just want to make sure that we get one person, they do a good job citywide, and you can stop having to worry about this contract over and over again. So
Yeah, we don't always take the lowest bid. By the way, Jamie Brown, Public Services Director, it's always the lowest, most responsive bid.
Okay.
So we do look at the references and everything as well. We have had some smaller operations put in that have not dealt with the city with facilities, as many facilities as we have, and facilities our size that come in way under, and we do not take those because we know they're not going to last. So janitorial operations for municipality are always interesting, to say the least. Obviously, the contractor we had to send multiple emails. They weren't cutting it.
Okay.
So what we're doing right now is we had to terminate them. We have a temporary contract for 3 months. Basically, it's going to end on October 31st. In the meantime, we have a bid out right now that's due back on August 20th. That'll be for a 3-year contract and the opportunity for 2 additional 1-year renewals. So it's a 3+2.
Okay.
We'll get that back on August 20th, and we'll go through the process, award it, bring it back to you guys for actual approval. The goal is to have everything set up so that turns over on October 1st.
Okay.
I'm sorry, November 1st.
I appreciate you going through that with us. The other thing is, it came to my attention that some of these places don't pay their workers what I would consider to be anything close to a fair wage for the work that they do. And I understand that the work is not skilled work per se, but when I heard just by word of mouth from a staff member about how much the young lady who had been cleaning this place had been offered by the potentially the next company to do several buildings, I was aghast, and it sounded extraordinarily exploitative to me. And so what I would hope is that in the future, we can have some contracts with people who will not pay their workers as poorly as what this young lady was offered to do the work for the next company. And we can talk about that offline. But
So you're saying she worked for the previous company, Kelly Janitorial, and then she was offered a position with the temporary company we have right now.
to basically do the same work for an amount that I just, I would be appalled that anybody would pay someone that. It's legal, seemingly. I mean, depending on the amount of time, I guess it would take her to do what they would have asked her to do for that, but it's not at all conscionable.
Unfortunately, I'm not aware of that particular situation.
We'll
but
talk
our
about it.
Contractors with, or our contracts with these particular companies basically detail out the facilities in the city that they're responsible for cleaning, as well as what they need to do in each one of those facilities, whether it's, the twice a year wax of the floors, how many times a week they actually service the trash cans. That's the kind of stuff that's in the actual contract. We don't really delve into what they do internally with their private company and what they pay who and we don't really get into that level. We just deal with what they actually are going to be providing service-wise for the city.
Okay. All right. We can talk about that offline. But I had a major problem with the number that I had heard. A major problem. There was no way that she could have done that work in a number of hours that would have made that okay with me for the amount that the company was going to pay her. And if we have any influence over these companies and how much they pay their workers, I think that they should be paid a wage that wasn't that a wage that they can actually live on and pay bills on, not necessarily go to Saint-Tropez or Monaco, but a decent wage.
I would definitely, before giving an answer, I would definitely have to speak with legal to see if that's even something that we can get into as far as reaching into a private company and determining what they can actually pay their.
We had that come up a while back on a certain issue, and the practices of the company, and we were told and instructed at that time we had no.
Yeah, I'll look into it if you like. Generally, that's difficult to do. I mean, you do an RFP, you're generally looking for them to put in a bid for their price and their services. I could look into whether we could say we want a minimum price amount to be paid. Obviously, that's going to increase our cost. But I don't know whether you can do that or not. But if you want, I can look into that.
Or if you can say that there's, we'll talk.
I mean, they've got to meet obviously the minimum wage laws.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not sure how much further you can go. But again, if you want, I can look into it.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion on the floor?
I have a question.
Sure. We weren't even supposed to go there without a motion in a second. We just.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Commissioner Robinson. Go ahead.
We do give incentives though for local contractors.
No, we can't do that anymore either.
We preference.
I mean, might we consider even hiring someone ourselves?
one of the things that came forth last time was we asked that too, if we could give local consideration. And some cities used to do a tier system where you would gain X amount of points, you know, as more beneficial if you were a local company or whatever. And some legal challenge, I remember Glenn, you telling us about, it was a while back too.
Yeah.
I think it was probably about the same time that issue came in. What was that again? Do you remember? You have to revisit it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because this law is always, that whole area of the law is changing, so I can look in that too. I'm making myself notes. to
Yeah,
look
that
into
was
these
important
things.
for us to have.
Yeah, local preference.
Local businesses.
Okay.
If they're qualified.
I'll report back
So
on
we
that
don't
next-
know, we don't know if we give local preference. Is that-
A lot of cities did use the local preference.
The local preference. Yeah, in the past with, not with anything janitorial, but with contracts that involved, road work, emergency response, stuff like that, we have had on our scorecards, we have had a category for local preference. But it's been a few years since we've done one of those.
But you can't prioritize a local company over, I mean, you can give them the extra points in regards to the rating structure, but you can't say, hey, there's a local guy and there's somebody from out of state coming in
No,
to
but
do
you
a
might
job.
be able to give them extra points, and those extra points, that's what I'll look into. If you can give them extra points, then obviously if you're a 100-point system and you get 3 points, that could be the difference.
Could be, depending on their qualifications.
So that's
Vice Mayor,
I don't know.
In this particular contract, we're getting bids in. This isn't one of the ones we actually have a committee that we put together that we actually grade, like we did for, like a lot of our push button work for the road bond program or something like that. So these we're actually getting in. We're looking at the actual bid number they come in with, and then you look at the low bid. You look at their qualifications. If they fit what you're looking for and their qualifications turn out, then you go with that particular one. This isn't one where we actually score every single bid that comes in, where we have multiple categories. Where we can say, okay, they get a 10 because they're located, within so many miles of Lake Worth. So that's not this kind of bid that's out right now.
Okay, thank you.
But that kind of bid is legal.
Not sure. Gotta look, the local preference is what we're going to look into, whether we can do.
Point system is.
Point system is, but the local preference is not.
Well, how do you get points?
No, you would add, that would be a preference in the bidding process along with other qualifications in a numerical bid and a numerical calculation.
That's like more of an RFP, a request for proposal, where someone is actually submitting all their qualifications, and then you're going to go through and you're going to grade each one of your vendors based on their qualifications, and then what you're talking about would be an actual category on that actual scorecard. But the type of bid that's out right now isn't one where we're getting qualifications from each company. They're actually submitting an actual price for the work that's asked to be done.
Vice Mayor?
And we talked too about hiring somebody in-house. How many facilities are you talking about cleaning? Because I remember having that conversation where, financially to have, somebody in-house or people doing that, it would take a lot more resources and funding and things than we have.
That is correct. There used to be an in-house janitorial. This goes back, before I got here in July of 2011. This is before I even got here, but this was before we had some cuts in public services. We had 56 people that were cut free back then. So back when we had many more people, that was done in-house. But we're talking about all city facilities.
Yeah.
So this is, City Hall, Annex, 1900, golf course, casino, like everything. So we have a lot of facilities, and as you can see, they're
Public Works.
Everything needs to be done all day, every day. So we just do not have the capacity to do that in-house currently, unless we looked at bringing on quite a few additional staff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Got some public comment cards. Peggy Fisher, followed by Tammy Panza.
Peggy Fisher, 508 North A Street. Hopefully I won't get tabled or whatever else we're doing tonight. I would like to bring to the city's attention that state statute defines agency as a municipality too, and there are rules in state statutes about the use of nonprofit entities for janitorial procurement items, other things that maybe the city should look at the state statute to see if we're required or the city is required to use the blind or the handicapped nonprofit entities that exist in this state. There are quite a few of them. And I just thought I'd bring it to your attention. And for residents who don't like to be told that they don't want to be heard, I'm one who's going to come keep up here and say what I think. And right now, I think not much of some of you on this dais. Thank you.
Thank you. Tammy Panza?
I second what Peggy said. I did want to say, I've been noticing a lot in many, many different areas that we're contracting out where we could be doing it better and cheaper in-house. I don't like even here, I didn't know about the cleaning people. I don't like hearing that people are working for slave wages and we're paying them and we're thinking we're getting a good deal. And then we go give the upper echelons huge raises and give them things that aren't quite as legal. But when it comes to the residents and the poor people, we have to follow the rules. But when it comes to the upper echelons of this city, we don't have to. So we can just avoid that. So, and I spent part of today coming down here, getting a copy of the backup, trying to read it, catching up. I know most of the residents don't have that access. Still gonna complain about the website and the accessibility of agenda, backup, all these things that we just put on the consent agenda. It was like 3 pages of consent agenda and I don't know, less than an hour of meeting. So we should be discussing some of these high dollar items.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Okay, are there any items for the electric utility? No, nothing on there. City attorney, do you have a report?
No, Madam Mayor.
City manager?
I'm
Was
sorry.
that last item, did we approve?
I'm sorry.
Did we vote on the last item?
We didn't vote.
Yeah, we didn't. We have a motion on the floor in a second. but we
Okay,
didn't
that
vote.
because that was part of the consent agenda. I'm sorry. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Do we have everyone vote?
I was going to, before the vote, I wanted to ask if this local preference is legal, couldn't we require, at least in the bid documentation, what the pay scales are for the people and base some sort of point system on fair wages rather than,
Yeah, I'll look into that.
and okay. So we don't know whether the preference is legal, so all I'm asking is that, if it is, will we be able to put in a pay scale part of the bid process?
And I don't know. I don't know that yet, but
Okay.
I will let you know next meeting.
Okay.
Well,
we've got to call.
Can
I've
I,
got to
can
call
I
the
get,
vote.
do you need
An answer.
a consensus or a vote of this deliberative board to give you direction? Or do they just don't want to talk about it?
No, I have no problem with your pursuing that. In fact, I actually encouraged it.
I just hope it doesn't get tabled the next time.
Right.
Point of order.
Point of order, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Well, we have to finish the motion. Excuse me, before
And
you
we
leave.
have the city manager
Before we leave.
get excited.
Before,
nothing.
quiet point of order, guys. Come on.
On the table.
We've got a motion on the table. Second. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Robinson?
Aye.
Aye. There we go. Motion carries unanimously. All right, city attorney, city manager, did you have something?
Yeah, just briefly, Madam Mayor, we received some communication from the realtors representing the Gulfstream Hotel. As you may recall, they're going through a process, a national process with CB Richard Ellis, who's their new realtor. And the reason I'm bringing this up is several of the folks who are in the process of putting in or considering putting in offers on the hotel have been meeting with staff under their Chapter 288 discussions about what's possible here, and receiving a lot of favorable feedback about the caliber and quality of the hoteliers and investors who are looking to acquire the hotel. It's my understanding that they'll be making some decisions on the final negotiation with their people later this month, and hopefully this will result in some kind of a relationship which will eventually lead to the hotel coming out of its sleepy state into actually something happening. So It seems that this national search is bearing some fruit for the owner of the hotel, and I'm judging that based on the communication I received, but also on the meetings that are taking place with staff.
Excellent, good news.
I also wanted to remind everyone that there's a meeting on Thursday regarding the appeal of the decision of the Planning Commission on the Dollar General. That's this Thursday, the 8th. Also on the 19th, coming up, we have a discussion and workshop on the beach discussion and the pool. We'll have presentations from the consulting firm, CPZ. And then on the 20th will be our regular meeting. And then on the 22nd, we have another budget hearing to discuss all the funds. So I want to remind everybody we have a very busy month with everyone, with all these meetings. And I know that the League of Cities conference is coming up. So appreciate everyone's time and patience. Thank you.
Mr. Robinson, did you have a question?
I had a question. You had an RFQ for the marketing of the casino complex. Did you get any responses?
I'd have to check back with, I haven't talked to Lauren Bennett about that. So.
And the process that the agenda moves forward with, is that coming back with a written procedure, or it was my understanding from the last meeting that we would have sort of a two-tiered process, and that we would be able to deliberate at the first session to whether move forward or not, but at least have a discussion whether to move forward or not.
Agreed.
Is that going to be a written policy, or that last discussion then from the procedure of agenda is out the window? Is that?
Madam Mayor, to your point, Commissioner Robinson, the actual amendments will take place in your resolution. So it's an amended resolution incorporating the various steps and procedures that you're looking to have this process outlined, and that the attorney is crafting that. It will be coming to you on the August 20th. Adoption will then facilitate whatever y'all approve at that final form, if it doesn't get amended or it is amended, how that works. Based on what
this was sort of an example of what might happen then tonight, except that we would be allowed to have a discussion regardless of a motion beforehand.
Madam Mayor,
is that how it's going to be written, or?
Madam Mayor, I have to get with the attorney and we'll give you the crafted language based on the direction we received at the last meeting. If it's not to the commission's liking, then y'all can alter it or change it. But it will incorporate the directions that you gave to us at the last workshop on this topic.
Okay. Madam Mayor?
Okay.
Yes.
From the city manager, may I ask why, when a commissioner asks for something to be put on the agenda, that there's no actual staff report about the item? I don't even know what we just I don't even think the person who made the motion to table knew what he just tabled.
Yes, I did.
Because excuse me, I have the floor, sir.
You're talking.
Actually,
I said I have the floor, sir.
Point of order to the both of you, one at a time. And number two, we're not even supposed to be interjecting at this point. It's supposed to be the
asking him a
reports.
question.
So
And you gave me the floor.
I did.
So, okay.
Because I didn't.
And I still have the floor.
I didn't let you have the floor.
Well,
So
okay,
please.
but you gave me the floor. I still have the floor. So I'm wondering, why? Is there going to be a staff report when a person asks for something to be put on the agenda the way that there is for every other agenda item?
Madam Mayor.
And I'm wondering
Would you like to answer?
And I'm wondering how could anyone on the dais know exactly what the item is to make a motion on, unless they've spoken with staff who's spoken with the commissioner, which would be a sunshine violation. So I don't know how the person could have made a motion to table
Point of
something.
order.
Excuse me. I'm just saying, he tabled something. He said he knew what he tabled, but there was nothing in this backup to describe what the item was, and yet he said he knew. Right. So
City manager?
Again, is there going to be a staff report?
Madam Mayor, the commission has the right under the current resolution to put things on the agenda. Commissioner Robinson went to the clerk directly and asked to put this item on.
Okay.
I don't know that I can write Commissioner Robinson's agenda item for him because I don't, and that's conversation between Commissioner Robinson and I. to make any accusation that there's some kind of sunshine law violation. We take great strides to avoid that.
I haven't accused anything. I raised a question.
The reason we're doing this resolution in the first place is to avoid these complications, so that there is a public vetting and discussion in more of a workshop format among the body, so that y'all can flesh things out before you give direction to expend staff time, resources, attorney time, staff, and that would hopefully this resolution facilitate that direction in a cleaner, more public and transparent process, and kind of remove this logjam that seems to be appearing, and frankly, to not have staff stuck in the middle of this too. We work for y'all as a body, so we're looking forward to a process that works for everybody.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how to answer it other than that's what Commissioner Robinson submitted to the clerk.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Second. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night.